Hi everybody, it's Miss Cole again with some more grammar. Woohoo! And this lesson is going to be about phrases and clauses. So, a lot of times my students struggle with knowing whether something is or isn't a complete sentence. Complete sentences are significant for two reasons. First of all, if you have a bunch of super fragmenty fragments, or at the other end of the spectrum, a sentence that goes on and doubles back on itself, then makes a sharp turn and goes in a completely different direction before looping back around again to return to a previous point, though not the first one. At some point, your readers may still be looking at each word in sequence, but their brains have been hiding under the covers going, no, make it stop. Second, in academic and professional writing, using complete sentences is a way of telling others to take your ideas seriously. It's like showing up in court in a suit instead of a tank top and a pair of booty shorts. The facts of the case are a completely different matter from your attire in court. However, as unreasonable and even perhaps inappropriate as it might be, a judge is likely to be influenced by what you choose to wear. Likewise, people who read your writing will think that either you don't care about your ideas enough to dress them in complete sentences, in which case, why should they care about your ideas either? Or they'll think that you don't know how to do something as basic as form a complete sentence, in which case, that brings into question your ability to do other things like develop meaningful ideas and express them in a clear, comprehensible way. So, complete sentences are important. And hopefully, you already know that complete sentences are groups of words. There are exceptions, but we're not there yet. The thing is, we're not the complete sentences yet either, because they're not the only structures that are groups of words. I mean, when you come down to it, fragments are groups of words, and so are run-ons. They're groups of lots of words, usually. I mean, technically, you can have one group of words that's a fragment and another group of words that's a run-on. And while usually the fragment is shorter than the run-on, it's possible to have a run-on that's shorter than a fragment. Anyway, where we're starting, we're just now getting to where we're starting, is with phrases. These are the most basic types of word groups in English. At the most fundamental level of understanding, a phrase is a group of words that works together as a single unit. It is the smallest grouped unit in the language. It can have either a subject or a verb, but not both. As a result, a phrase cannot be a complete sentence, because a complete sentence has to have both a subject and a verb. So, TLDR thus far, phrase, smallest official word group, either subject or verb, not both. Okay? Great. So, now we get to something a little trickier, which is the types of phrases. The reason this gets trickier is that there isn't really consensus on that. So what I'm going to do first is just list all the types of phrases that I've found in different sources. Then I'll explain some of the most basic or common types, which I'll refer to in some of my later videos without further explanation. But you can always refer back to a video specifically about that type of phrase or to this one for a general review. So, types of phrases. Verb phrase, noun phrase, prepositional phrase, infinitive phrase, participial phrase, gerund phrase, absolute phrase, adjective phrase, adverb phrase, appositive phrase, conjunctional phrase, interjectional phrase. That went by pretty quickly. So, to quote the delightful John Bon Jovi, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm not done. One more time. With feeling. Verb phrase, noun phrase, prepositional phrase, infinitive phrase, participial phrase, gerund phrase, absolute phrase, adjective phrase, adverb phrase, appositive phrase, conjunctional phrase, interjectional phrase. So I did put them in the order in which I'm going to go over them, and I'll go over each type in significantly more detail in separate videos. For now, I'm going to give a basic explanation of some of the most foundational types with some examples. What I really want to illustrate here is how each of these phrases is a word group that forms a single unit but is clearly not able to be a sentence on its own. That's what I want you to take away from this, that understanding, and the ability to recognize the pattern when you see it used in other ways. So, verb phrases. I've talked about verb phrases in a previous video in which I discussed verb phrases in relation to their counterpart, the simple verb, which is a single word. But to review, a verb phrase is made up of one or more helping verbs along with a main verb that's kind of the anchor to the phrase. You may also hear helping verbs referred to as auxiliary verbs, which is basically just a less well-known and more pompous-sounding way of saying exactly the same thing. Noun phrases. A noun phrase is made up of a noun and any of the words that modify it, which may come before or after it, or even both sometimes. Here are some examples. 2 kittens. 2 squirming kittens. 2 squirming kittens with pink tongues. 2 squirming kittens that love exploring. The way that you can identify a noun phrase is that the whole group of words can be replaced by a single pronoun, and that sentence still works as a complete sentence. So first, let's take that last noun phrase and use it as the subject of a sentence. 2 squirming kittens that love exploring are attempting to climb the bedroom curtains. Now, let's try replacing that noun phrase with a single pronoun. They are attempting to climb the bedroom curtains. We have, alas, lost some adorable and arguably significant detail, but as far as grammar goes, the sentence still fulfills the requirements of standard English. Prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase starts with a preposition and includes its object, which will be either a noun, gerund, or pronoun, as well as any words or phrases that modify the object. Examples. At home, of the reasons, with her 17 pencils, through every source imaginable, into the container, despite it all, with training. While the object often marks the end of the prepositional phrase, this is not always the case, as in the examples through every source imaginable and despite it all. To find the object of the preposition, I generally say the preposition and then ask, what? So in the sentence, she searched through every source imaginable, I see through and ask, through what? And that's how I find source as the object of the preposition. This is important because many words that are prepositions can function as adverbs if they don't have an object. In the sentence, he swam through, if I ask, through what? I find that there's no object for the word through. So in this sentence, the word through would be classified as an adverb, not a preposition. But in the sentence, he swam through the long meandering tunnel, through would be a preposition with the object tunnel. So, to review the most foundational points. A phrase has either a subject or a verb, not both. Thus, a phrase can't be a complete sentence on its own. A phrase is a group of words that forms a single, cohesive unit. I hope you can see these principles illustrated in the examples that I provided. I'll go into more details about specific types of phrases in later videos, as well as giving more examples to help you become familiar with the patterns. Good luck with your grammatical endeavors, and bye for now.